Are you mentally exhausted by passwords, two-factor authentication, and account recovery systems? If you are, you're not alone. I have a desktop, a laptop, and a cell phone. I primarily use my cell phone, but I also use my laptop for video editing and occasionally my desktop for research. The other day I tried to log into one of my Google accounts on my desktop, and it wanted my password. I'm like, okay, Google Password Manager, where are you at? And what happened to syncing multiple devices? It doesn't even recognize a frequently used account. Does this sound familiar to you? You know, modern passwords aren't even passwords anymore. They're encrypted constitutional amendments. For example, the maximum length, or minimum length actually, is 8 to 12 characters. A combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, special symbols. Oh, and let's not forget, we cannot use easily guessable information like birthdays, pets' names, or sequential letters. If that wasn't bad enough, we're expected to somehow maintain this mass collection of data. Once I used a password manager software stored on my computer. It used a complicated, rather lengthy password to open the program. But the program did do a pretty good job of organizing and adding or updating passwords for all my accounts. That is, until I hadn't used it in a while, and when I needed to update the entries again, I discovered I'd lost the password to the password software. I was locked out and I couldn't access any of my passwords for any of my accounts. Let's just say I don't use these types of services any longer. Of course, eventually, passwords alone weren't enough. Now the system always needs to make sure you're really you. For example, I remember when multi-factor authentication, or MFA, started becoming a thing. And the federal government accounts like Social Security and the IRS started requiring us to use an authenticator for access. You're going to encounter some special issues trying to set up an authenticator if you're using an inexpensive or older cell phone, or if your computer doesn't have the technology to verify your physical identity. Then you have to decide the type of software. You're going to use ID.me or an MFA app. True story. I tried helping a relative set up an MFA using their cell phone once, but their phone was too outdated and underpowered. It wouldn't process the image for authentication, and I couldn't use my phone because it has to be from the account the user's phone number is. So we ended up having to abandon the online effort and resort to voice communication. And that's where things start getting really complicated, because once these systems fail, then you're dealing with account recovery. Account recovery has quietly become one of the most frustrating parts of the modern digital life, because people no longer just lose a password. They lose access to an entire identity ecosystem. Here's some common struggles that people do run into. So you forget a password, but then your recovery depends on another forgotten password. Or once you reset the account, but the reset email goes to an old email account that you can't access anymore. Or recovery texts get sent to a number the person changed years ago. This is especially common with older adults or people who switch carriers often. Then there's two-factor authentication dependency. 2FA is when you sign into an account, then the account texts or emails you a code. 2FA increases security, but if the phone breaks or the authenticator app resets and the backup codes were never saved, the user can get completely locked out. Honestly, I didn't realize that last part could happen. Automated systems with no human help are a huge emotional trigger too. People are used to calling a human for important problems, but many problems or modern platforms mostly rely on automated recovery systems. Pressing 0 or saying operator doesn't always work anymore. We are truly struggling with digital identity fatigue. We have to manage so much. Email accounts, cloud accounts, banking logins, streaming services, health portals, government logins, social media, shopping accounts, and now AI services. It's no wonder we feel so tired. I'm getting fatigued just talking about it.